The New Hampshire Supreme Court sort of threw a curveball to the legislature last week, deciding that it would be taking oral arguments on this case that the former local government center has brought against Secretary of State Bill Gardner and the Bureau of Securities Regulation. I think many assumed the Supreme Court was going to take its time with this case. All parties to the matter figured the court was not going to make a decision until next spring at the earliest, and perhaps even later than that. And this seminal question is whether Secretary of State Gardner and his regulators overstepped their authority, and the hearing officer that made a judgment did just the same when he ruled that the former local government center misspent more than $50 million. Now, by scheduling oral arguments in the middle of November, that tees up a decision for early on in the 2014 session. That really raises the stakes for health trust and property liability trust, the groups that have spun off of the local government center that have a lot financially riding on what this court says. Because if this court essentially upholds the authority that Bill Gardner and the Bureau of Securities Regulations has, then the former LGC and former Senate President Peter Bragdon, now CEO of the Health Trust, really has to go hat in hand to the legislature and try and fix the statute in their terms, try and change it more to their liking, try to clip the wings of state regulators going forward with regard to these risk pools. It was looking like the court's decision probably wasn't going to be issued in enough time to substantially affect public policy in 2014. Now, it could very well be in the wheelhouse of the New Hampshire legislature next year, and we could have a pretty protracted debate on whether to change this law governing these quasi-public risk pools. We'll be following it all for you here at NashvilleTelegraph.com.